You know, when a woman leaves you, there's a kind of silence that follows, a void. It can feel like your entire world has been flipped upside down, and the first instinct is often to ask, what did I do wrong? Or worse, how do I get her back? But let me stop you right there. If you're in that headspace and she suddenly shows back up again, you have to pause. Because before you even think about what to say or how to respond, the first and most important thing you must do is reclaim your power. This isn't about playing games or trying to one-up anyone. It's about reminding yourself of who you were before she came along, who you've become since she left, and who you're still becoming. A breakup, especially one that blindsides you or leaves you in pieces, can rob you of your sense of self. You start seeing yourself through the lens of that rejection. You start questioning your worth, your masculinity, your decisions. But hear me, no one has the authority to define your value but you. When she left, maybe you were at a low point, maybe you begged, pleaded, or chased. That's okay, it happens. We've all made choices from a place of pain. But now you have to ask yourself, what did I learn from that experience? Did I use that time apart to grow? Did I face the uncomfortable truths about myself and start working on becoming emotionally stronger, more grounded, more focused on my own life and goals? Because if she's back and you're still that same version of yourself, the one who was broken, lost, unsure, then you're likely to fall right back into the same cycle. And trust me, nothing changes if you don't. So when she comes back, don't just see her presence as a second chance, see it as a test of the man you've been working to become. Are you still giving your power away just because someone who once walked away has now decided to return? Reclaiming your power means not being reactive. It means not rushing to reply, not throwing yourself back into the situation because you missed her. It means holding space for yourself. It means checking your emotions and reminding yourself, I have the right to choose. I'm not desperate. I'm not needy. I'm not that broken man anymore. It's not about ego. It's about self-respect. You see, a woman may come back for all kinds of reasons. Some are genuine. Others are rooted in regret, loneliness, or even convenience. But you can't know the difference if you haven't first re-established your own foundation. You can't see clearly if you're still operating from a place of fear, hoping she'll give your life meaning again. Your life already has meaning, with or without her. And as I always say, the most attractive man in the room is the one who doesn't need anyone to complete him. That kind of man moves with quiet confidence. He doesn't chase what walked away. He attracts what aligns with his worth. So when she comes back, take a breath, look in the mirror, ask yourself, do I know who I am now? If the answer is yes, then and only then are you ready to make the next decision from a place of strength, not from the ruins of heartbreak. Now let's say she's come back. She reaches out, maybe it's a message, maybe it's a call, or maybe she just suddenly shows up acting like nothing ever happened. And in that moment, your heart starts to race. You're wondering, is this real? Is this my second chance? But let me slow you down right there, because before you go diving back into something that once broke you, you need to take a serious, honest look at why she's back. It's easy to assume the best, that she missed you, that she realized her mistake, that love brought her back, and hey, maybe it did. But here's what I've learned, and what I want you to really hear today. Feelings alone are not enough. We all get lonely, we all have moments of regret, but those emotions don't always lead to healthy decisions. So you have to evaluate her intentions with clarity, not wishful thinking. Is she back because she truly sees your value now, or is she just uncomfortable being alone? Jessica Opare here, and I need you to understand this. A woman coming back doesn't automatically mean she's changed. It doesn't mean the issues that made her leave in the first place have magically disappeared. So don't let her presence blind you. Don't let your hopes silence your intuition. Look at her actions. What is she doing differently now? Is she taking accountability for the way she left? Is she showing consistent effort? Or is it all talk and vague promises? You need to be able to separate words from patterns. Anyone can say they're sorry. Anyone can say they miss you. But what matters is how they show up. Is she coming back with respect, with humility? Is she acknowledging the pain she may have caused? Or is she just glossing over it, hoping to pick up where things left off, as if you should be grateful she's returned? Don't be so quick to hand over your trust just because someone knocked on your door again. Trust has to be rebuilt, and that takes time, communication, and above all, consistency. The version of you who's done the inner work needs to protect your peace, not gamble it on someone who hasn't earned their way back into your life. Also, be very real with yourself. Was the relationship healthy before she left, or were you constantly trying to prove your worth, walking on eggshells, giving more than you were receiving? Because if it wasn't solid then, and she hasn't grown since, you're just inviting the same pain back into your life. And I'll tell you this, some people return because they see that you're moving on, that you've leveled up, that you're no longer waiting around. That energy, that growth, it draws people in. But just because they want you now doesn't mean they're right for you. Don't confuse attention with intention. Don't mistake presence for purpose. So when she comes back, take a step back, observe. Ask yourself, does her return align with where I'm going, or is it pulling me backward? Because love, real love, should never feel like regression. It should feel like peace, like clarity, like partnership. And if her return doesn't come with all of that, then maybe it's not love calling, it's just a distraction. Be wise enough to tell the difference when someone you once loved, someone who walked away from you, suddenly reappears. It can feel like a storm of emotions. There's excitement, confusion, hope, maybe even a little fear. Your heart starts racing, memories come flooding back, and before you know it, your mind is filled with what ifs. What if she's changed? What if we can make it work this time? What if this is the moment I've been waiting for? But here's where I need you to pause and listen closely. This is exactly when you need to be most careful, because emotions, while powerful, can easily cloud your judgment. Jessica Opare here, and I want to remind you of something simple but essential. Just because something feels good in the moment doesn't mean it's good for you in the long run. When a woman who left you comes back, it stirs up deep emotional responses. That's normal. You're human. You may still care about her. You may even still love her. But love alone isn't enough to make something work, especially if the foundation was broken. There's something incredibly powerful about taking a step back before making a big decision, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. Now, when a woman who left you suddenly wants to come back into your life, it's almost instinctive to feel a rush of emotions. That mix of surprise, relief, hope, and maybe even excitement can hit you like a wave. And in that moment, it's so easy to get swept away. But let me tell you something, that is exactly when you need to slow down. Jessica Opare here, and I want you to really understand this. Emotions are not the enemy, but when they're left unchecked, they can lead you straight into decisions you'll later regret. It's okay to feel things. Of course you'll feel something when someone you cared about, maybe even deeply loved, comes back. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. But being human doesn't mean being impulsive. I've seen so many men rush right back into the arms of someone who once walked away, thinking that love is enough to fix everything. But the truth is, love without wisdom is chaos. It's not about suppressing your emotions, it's about putting them in perspective. You have to be able to sit with them, feel them, but still ask the right questions. You can't just react. You have to respond with clarity, with confidence, and most of all, with self-respect. Let's be real. Your emotions might be screaming, yes, she's back. This is what I've been waiting for. But before you follow that voice, ask yourself, what else is true? What's the bigger picture? Are you feeling joy, or are you feeling relief from loneliness? Are you genuinely happy she's back, or are you afraid of starting over? Is it love, or is it fear? These are tough questions, but they matter. Because when you let emotion drive every decision, you give away your power. You give control to something that constantly shifts, depending on the day, your mood, or the last conversation you had. And that's dangerous, especially when the stakes involve your heart, your peace, your future. You owe it to yourself to step back and breathe. Don't answer her right away. Don't feel like you have to make a decision today, tomorrow, or even next week. Take the time to look at everything with clear eyes. Ask yourself if her return adds value to your life as it is now, not as it was back then. You're not the same man you were when she left. So don't make decisions based on who you used to be. At the end of the day, being emotionally intelligent doesn't mean shutting your feelings off. It means allowing them to exist, but still choosing what's best for you from a place of calm, grounded reflection. That's strength. That's maturity. And that's the version of you who doesn't just let someone back in because they knocked. He opens the door only when it truly makes sense. So let's say she's back. She's saying the right things, she's showing up, and maybe part of you is considering giving her another chance. That's your choice. But here's what I need you to understand. If you even think about letting her back into your life, it cannot be under the same conditions as before, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. The version of the relationship that broke down can't be the version you rebuild. And that starts with you establishing new boundaries and new standards. This is Jessica Au Pair here, and I'm going to speak to you as plainly as I can. If you don't redefine the terms of engagement, you're not getting a second chance. You're just repeating the first mistake. The relationship has to evolve, and that evolution has to begin with you. You can't go back to being overly available, overgiving, ignoring red flags, and pretending that everything is fine just to keep her around. It's not love. That's fear disguised as loyalty, and that version of you, he doesn't belong in your future. You have to ask yourself, what did I tolerate that I shouldn't have? Where did I lose myself in that relationship? Where did I silence my needs just to avoid conflict or keep the peace? Those questions are hard, but they'll reveal where your boundaries were either unclear or non-existent. And when someone comes back, especially after leaving, you must make it clear the access they had to you before, that access has expired. If they want to be in your life now, they have to meet a different version of you, one who respects himself enough to draw the line where it needs to be drawn. You have every right to say, this is what I expect now. This is what I won't accept again. This is what I need to feel safe, valued, and seen. And if she's serious about being back, she won't be offended by those standards. She'll rise to meet them. The right person will want to understand your boundaries, not push past them. She won't accuse you of being too difficult or too guarded. She'll see that you've grown. And if she doesn't, if she complains, guilt trips, or tries to manipulate her way around them, then that's your answer. Right there. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about protecting the peace you fought hard to regain. It's about making sure that love, if it returns, shows up with responsibility and accountability. You're not holding a grudge. You're holding a standard. And that's powerful. So yes, she might be back. And yes, you might still care. But that doesn't mean she gets to walk into your life like it's a revolving door. You get to decide what version of her, if any, has a place in your life now. You're not the same man she left. So don't let the relationship be the same either. If this really is a second chance, then let it be a new chapter, not a rewrite of an old one. Let me tell you something that a lot of people struggle to believe. Just because someone comes back into your life doesn't mean you owe them anything. And I really need you to hear that. She may have left. She may have hurt you. And now she's back. Maybe she says she's changed. Maybe she seems sincere. But you are not obligated to open the door just because she knocked. That decision is yours and yours alone. Jessica Au Pair here, and I want to speak to the version of you that still feels like you need to prove something. Maybe you feel like saying yes to her return is how you win. Maybe you believe that getting her back validates your worth, your manhood, your growth. But hear me, your value was never defined by her leaving, and it certainly won't be defined by her coming back either. You don't need to carry the pressure of making her feel comfortable again. That's not your job. Your job is to ask yourself what you want, what you need, what feels right for the man you've become. If you've grown, healed, found peace in her absence, you're not doing anything wrong by choosing to protect that peace. It doesn't make you bitter, it makes you wise. We live in a world that sometimes paints forgiveness as going back, as if saying no is cold or unkind. But let me remind you, forgiveness and access are two different things. You can forgive her. You can let go of the anger, the hurt, the resentment, and still not let her back into your life. Forgiveness is about you, not her. It's about releasing the burden so you can breathe freely again. But giving someone another chance, that's a privilege. That's not handed out just because someone returned, it's earned. And don't let guilt trip you either. People will say things like, but if she's sorry, shouldn't you give her another chance? Only you know what that relationship took from you. Only you know how deep the wound went and how hard it was to climb out of that emotional hole. So don't let anyone, not even her, tell you how to manage your healing. I need you to stand in your truth. If your spirit feels unsettled at the thought of letting her back in, trust that. If something doesn't sit right, listen to that. That's your inner wisdom speaking. You've earned the right to say, I'm not the same man anymore, and this version of me is no longer available for what hurt me. Remember, this is not about revenge. It's not about ego. It's about alignment. It's about moving forward, not backward. You don't have to let her back just to prove you're over her. You can be over her and still protect the boundaries that keep you whole. So if she comes back and everything in you says, I've outgrown this, then please walk away, not out of anger, but out of self-love. You're not obligated to re-enter a story you've already finished. And sometimes the real power isn't in getting her back, it's in knowing you don't need her anymore. There's a moment after everything, after the silence, the heartbreak, the distance, when she reaches out again. And in that moment, you stand at a crossroads. You can look back or you can look forward. But here's what I want you to understand with your whole heart. No matter what she says, no matter what she does, you are not the same person she walked away from. And that's your power. That's where your clarity begins. This is Jessica O'Pear, and I want to remind you that growth is not just about changing your habits or improving your mindset. It's about how you see yourself. The fact that she's back might stir your emotions, but it shouldn't shake your foundation. You've evolved. You've endured the pain of her leaving, and you came out stronger. So now, whatever decision you make, whether to give her another chance or to close the door gently but firmly, must come from that place of strength, not from the past version of yourself that was broken, confused, or desperate for love. There's a certain beauty in realizing that you no longer need what once shattered you. And sometimes when a woman comes back, it's not about her at all. It's about the mirror she holds up. She gives you the opportunity to see who you've become, how far you've come, and what you now stand for. It's a test, yes, but it's also a celebration of your evolution. Because real growth doesn't mean being bitter or angry. It means being at peace. It means being so aligned with who you are now that even when the past knocks, you don't have to answer unless it fits the life you're building. You get to decide what energy you allow back in. You get to choose what kind of love surrounds you now. And more importantly, you get to lead from a place of confidence, not confusion. And let me be clear, closure isn't something she gives you. It's something you give yourself. You don't need her to validate your growth. You don't need her to say you were right or I made a mistake for you to move forward. Her return, while it may feel significant, is not the finish line. It's just a checkpoint, one where you ask, does this align with my future? Does this serve the man I've become? You're not here to repeat cycles. You're here to build something real, intentional, and lasting. So if she returns and her energy matches yours, if her actions reflect accountability and consistency, then maybe there's something worth exploring. But if her return only reminds you of a love that once drained you, then you'll know. You've outgrown it. And that realization, that inner knowing, is everything. It's freedom, it's power. So whether you choose to reopen the door or keep it closed, let it be from a place of truth. Let it be from the version of you who now understands his worth and refuses to accept anything less. Because the man who has grown doesn't chase validation. He moves in peace, on purpose, and with the confidence that no matter who leaves or who returns, he will be just fine.